Hi everyone, it's Lehman with Lace Covered Skies. Today I'm going to show you how I make my vintage retro slide mounts. So here we have my I started making these little pockets to store things because it's kind of getting out of hand with all this ephemera that I've been making. So I did a video showing you how I've been making little ways to store things, like already made ephemera. I'll link that down below if I remember. But these are bits and pieces of slide mounts. And let me actually see if I have a completed one. I started this project a long time ago and I never came up with the way that I loved. It was just kind of like I wasn't satisfied with how things were turning out. Like this is one that I made. I collaged a piece in the back and then I put another piece in the front, and I didn't really like that. And I think that's all I have. And I started putting this piece in the back and I didn't really like that. All right, so I am going to show you today my favorite version of these, and for Mask Making Monday I'll show you some other variations, but my favorite kind or way to make this is to make it smaller than the slide mount itself and have the transparency hold it so it's kind of floating in the slide mount. That's my definite favorite way. And for these I use images from National Geographic magazines, so I can kind of show you. I think most of these are from National Geographic magazines, but I pick small images that will show up nicely. And then we have this one. And I started cutting up some other ones that I will audition to see if I like them. And of course, it's not always easy to find small images. And in this case, the vintage retro style that I'm working with. So when I see pages that fit into that category, I kind of set them aside. All right, so I have that. Now I will be making another kind, which will be on the Mask Making Monday video that you would have seen yesterday. So I am filming this tutorial first. So the first thing I did was I got my slide mount. I got a whole bunch of these slide mounts at an estate sale, and it's the estate sale that I titled Jackpot Estate Sale. I got so many of these, and I even got some for free. It was really cool. They were really nice people, and so I got like a whole trash bag of these. I'll link that haul below if I remember as well. And the first thing I did was made a template that fit in here. So I made a template that fit along the entire slide mount. Now when I'm cutting these pictures, because they're small, of course it's not going to be the same as this piece because I want it to be floating in there. But first and foremost, I'm making a template. And then I take out pieces of transparency. These are already cut down, so I'm going to go with this. But I'm basically just going to cut down pieces of transparency to fit this template. You don't have to have transparency. I have some of these thicker pieces right here that are actually from packaging that it was like an art set with paints and colored pencils, watercolors, things like that. I got it on clearance at Hobby Lobby like 2 years ago, and it had this clear plastic in the front, and it is a stiff plastic. So I saved that piece and I cut them up, and they work fine. So you can use something like that. Just always look out for packaging, because I think a lot of packaging we can reuse, and I love reusing them. But for the tutorial, I'm going to cut down this piece. So this is going to be it's so hard for me to see on this one, but let me measure it. This is going to be 2 3/4 of an inch both ways. It's a complete square, my slide mount. So I'm going to cut a piece that's 2 3/4. And let me measure this to see if it's the right size. Yep, this is the right size. Let me just double check though. Measure twice, cut once, right? Yeah. All right, so I'm going to cut this piece to be 2 3/4. And this little piece I'm going to save for something else. So there we have this piece that's going to fit into the slide mount. And you already saw that I previously cut out these little pieces. So I'm going to pick a picture. And these pictures are all different sizes because of the image, like depending on who's in the image or the way it's spaced out. But what I'll do is I will take this piece, put it under the transparency. I'll put it under the transparency. I'm not going to sandwich a transparency, although you can do that, but I want the front part to look more finished. So I'm going to put this piece under. I go to my sewing machine and I make a straight stitch all the way around, as close to the edge as possible. My straight stitch has been acting up on my sewing machine, so hopefully that'll work out. But I'm not going to go to the sewing machine now, but I'm going to pull up one of the pieces that I already did. So let's go with this one. So as you can see, I just went around and stitched as close to the edge as possible, and I was not perfect. You can see that the thread on this corner here is a little bit messed up, but that's okay. And after you sew that, you're just going to glue it in here But you can see that even though it's not perfect, it just looks cool because it's floating in there. And I have sewn this down. It's probably the most secure way because this is plastic. But I really like the look of like a really clean look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this down. And the glue that I'm using is Art Glitter Glue. It's Art Glitter Glue. And that works well with plastic. I should probably use a thicker opening. This is Art Glitter Glue, I think. I'm pretty sure this is Art Glitter Glue. I should label this. And it is stuck, so let me grab a needle really quick, or a pin. That's never a good sign when you're filming a video and you have to unclog your glue. But let's hope that that worked. Amazingly, it did. All right. This is a little bit thicker of a line of glue that's coming out. All right, so I am going to lay this over the top and making sure that I have the empty side in the front, because that's what I personally want for these. Gonna lay that over the top, just kind of hold it down. You guys know I love using plastic. Sorry for the reach. I love using plastic, so in case the glue oozes over, the plastic just kind of catches it. And it doesn't even really mess up the plastic because it just dries on there. All right. Now some of the glue got into the middle, but Art Glitter Glue should dry clear. So you know what? I didn't need that much glue. So I'm gonna go ahead and put less glue on the other side. Now this one's acting up. That's so weird because this one usually never clogs. So putting a thin line and closing it down. Now I of course don't want the glue to go into the transparency, but in one of my future videos, once this dries, I'll show you guys how that glue ends up looking in there. Like if it doesn't look clear. And another thing is that if you don't have slide mounts, you could totally make your own with just cardstock. I make the specimen cards without slide mounts just because I like the pattern paper more, because my botanical journals are a little bit more collagey. So those specimen cards are the exact same idea as these slide mount cards, I guess you could say. But with the specimen cards, I'm just making it from scratch with my die cutting machine. So you could totally do that for slide mounts as well. You just need a die cut that is square, or any shape really that has a hole in the middle. And you can definitely cut cardstock and make a hole in the middle. That would totally work. But yeah, so what I like to do with these is glue them as tuck spots. So I'll glue like a corner or like an L shape or something like that, and leaving space to tuck in. And when you tuck something in behind something that's floating like this floating image, it just looks really cool. It makes the tuck spot look cool, and it also makes the picture behind it look cool. So let's say I was going to tuck this behind it. It just makes everything more interesting. And I did that in one of the journals, one of my other retro journals. I'll try to find which one and link it below. But I really love this look. So I am going to go ahead and make a whole bunch of them. These images all came from, I think, 2 magazines. And I'll admit that they're not like my favorite for these, because it was kind of like I just took out what I could. But I'm going to go ahead and finish them, and I will show you in another video how they turn out. But let me know if you have ever made cards like these where it's clear. I think you can tell that I really like clear things now. But and if you do try this, I would love it if you tagged me on Instagram. My name over there is the same as here. It's Lace Covered Skies, and it's always linked down below. But if you like this video, I hope you give me a like down below, and I hope you're subscribed to my channel. I would love to have you here. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will talk to you next time. Bye, everyone.